answered by just about anybody, correct?
Sure, everybody can.
So,
I think I was on record, I just answered every
that's
question.
right. We're the official reader.
And let the official attorney.
The file, that information, I don't believe is available because that has not been all put together yet.
They would like to make it public since it's already public. And then I believe that is that what you all wanted to be made?
Well, there was some concern from the back of the room about, or misunderstanding of the sunshine law. We don't necessarily have to take real estate into closed session. We do at our choosing, correct?
Yes. Because
So
be safe and
technically-
be sorry,
Exactly.
and that's what I get paid to do. Is be safe and
Exactly,
sorry.
so on this particular case, we were asked to bring it to closed session. So now, if we choose as a board to bring it out, do we have to go into closed session and vote it out of closed session, or can we just say that we want it out of closed session?
Mayor?
It's a terrible thing to have people out there with a perception. Way I feel, they think we're hiding something, and I guess I could take
I
that.
think under these circumstances, I think it's okay just to tell you what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're not hiding anything. So, well, I think he asked you in what form do we do that?
I think under these, just
Can I just?
So it's
say now?
just, they want to know what the sale price is.
go ahead and tell me.
Okay,
$10,000. $10,000.
They normally be made open to public
Yes,
after
after the
the
sale,
is closed.
yes.
And then we have,
And we have the money in the title of the note.
so the public would have known sooner or later the sale price. And what the vote was. Number 9?
My question is, I was just unclear on the wording of the question, that, you know, the word immediate value to keep it open, and it's like, it's gonna be open until next year, so there's no immediate cutoff.
They have a right to keep it open until next year. Whether they keep it open or not is up to them.
The
That's
chamber?
The chamber,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we can't tell them to keep it open. We can't
No,
tell
no,
them
no,
to
but-
ban it. We can't tell them anything other than the
Right.
space is going to be available under the terms of the lease till the end of June.
And to the question, it's like, the city official of New Haven saw no immediate value to keep it open. And that's why I was just unclear on the terminology. It's like, immediate means like the Hanson deal, 1 month. And, you know, my thought is, it's a whole nother, almost another year, but I know it's.
Well, I think you probably answered that earlier in this discussion of, you know, is the visitor center to the town of New Haven an important thing to continue in whatever fashion?
Yeah, and I think that's been answered, that we
Yeah.
feel
That was
that,
answered
Yeah.
a little while ago.
and I think
Yes.
that word immediate probably should have been erased from that
Right,
sentence.
that was the
Because it
confusing
did.
part.
What the question was meant to say, that we saw no value in keeping it open, which is not our intent.
You know, and part of my thought is, you know, if a rack card or a visitor center is housed within a city hall, that'll be staffed Monday through Friday. And then I think, and that the chamber or whomever would only be responsible for 2 days a week. And then it'd be staffed 7 days a week, but it'll only be up to the chamber or whomever, just the 2.
Well, I think the kind of the basis for this question was also when we were talking about what viable options would be to move, those options weren't, I mean, the ones that we talked about, you know? just weren't real good options. And so it just kind of led me and others to believe, gosh, are we just trying to get shoved into a closet somewhere? Or how important is the visitor center? You know, and that's where a lot of this originated is, you know, maybe there were options and there was the intent, but there was no bringing us into what that, you know, could, yes, future, we will, but, you know, just it not, you know, I don't know what to
You know,
say.
and at the risk of sounding deceptive, which we're not, the problem is that this wasn't a closed session deal. It was leaked
Yes, it was.
out of the closed session, which didn't give us the adequate time to think all these things through. We got caught, and I didn't want to say that, sorry. But we did get options. We were thinking of options for it. I'm not making that as an excuse, but,
Well, and I guess in my mind too, when we were first having the conversation, when I knew this was in process, is the assumption on the council's part that you knew what was best for us. When we're talking about government control, you know, kind of thing. It just kind of goes back to that, you know, so, you know, your options were to just kind of, you know, okay, city's gonna own Annabelle, and so just put us in there, or, you know, just kind of a lateral deal kind of thing, if that was one of the options that was considered, you know, in the front of that, which we now know it's not gonna be an option, but, it just that assumption that we would be okay with whatever we could get, you know, from city point of view, you know?
yeah, I mean, these are just, it's the old option play, that's what we had.
And that's what we have to talk about.
And we never talked to some of the entities that were involved in that. These were just points of discussion. These weren't saying, this is where it's gonna go, and that's final. These were just some, you know, first inning on something like that. So, these weren't the only ones, and like I said, I think if all the boards get together and come up with a unified idea, I think it would go well.
I want to say, just interject something here. I listened to Mr. Otten, and these guys are pretty intelligent people. They put their heads together and get things done. But I had many discussions with Tim, Mark, Councilor J.D. out of town a lot of times, but all the things we discussed about where to go with the chamber always had one common denominator, and that was how they're going to best suit the chamber, and we want to do what's right for the city to get more people downtown. It was never about we just want to exclude them. No, we wanted to try to figure out ways to get them downtown. That's why he brought up stuff like, let's have it out there at the city hall where we get more people to see it that's coming through town. A lot of people come to town, they want to know where their ancestors' cemeteries are and things like that. And then they see that and they, well, because you got to right now, there's no signage on the highway that actually tells you there's a visitor center downtown with the thing.
There's
So,
a
but if they
small
had-
sign, but
Small, yes.
not.
But if they
if
had
you're
something
doing more
there where
than
they could come in
35.
there and see this and say, hey, let's go downtown. You know, we want the business to go down there. So,
Well, that's where you go in and say the chamber's not willing to work with the city, or the city's not willing to work with the chambers. I mean, the city's constantly working with the chamber members on, I mean, look at the sign ordinances. We had forever people complaining since they were installed, and we have addressed that, and we don't hear any sign complaints anymore. We went through that whole thing, top to bottom, and worked with the businesses in town, and then we missed some things, we went back, and we fixed it again and again and again. I think it was 3-4 times, because we might have missed something, but we were the ones, we were going out there, they were complaining about this or that. Nobody came to us with solutions. The city went out, talked to the businesses, found out what the problem was, and then we figured out how to do it. That shouldn't be it. It should be the businesses going out saying, here's what the problem is, I want government to fix it. But we're always constantly having to come up with those fixes. And, you know, it should be the other way around. The businesses, you know, we come in here, we're stuck with these laws that we got. you know how to run your businesses. Now tell me what you want. And so we have been working with these businesses a lot. And so to come down here and people say that the city's not wanting to work with the businesses, that's completely false. So, you can, if you ask your chamber members, they're gonna find out that we have worked with them on many, many projects.
They were the ones that got the phone call first when the gas went through the roof.
Yep.
I remember making those phone calls.
Yep.
And also, we did take into consideration doing phase 1 and phase 2 for downtown, which was less impact to businesses down there at their height, at their busiest time. So, I mean, we were, that kind of thought about
And
that.
I don't think anyone would deny that. I think, it's just, with, this particular issue and it being,
I know, but we got, I mean, I don't want to,
No, we gotta finish this.
I want to finish up.
We're at
Yeah.
number 10.
Number 10, what do we say about that?
There was no president.
There was no appraisal done. They made the offer, and they had purchased a lot. I think that gravel lot was larger. They had purchased it for $5,000. And this one was a smaller lot, but it had a building that had to basically be taken down, and they were gonna have to have the expense. And just like we didn't wanna take down Paddle Stop, and that was the main reason why we went to look for somebody else. We didn't wanna be on the hook for $30,000, $40,000. I think that deal we made there turned out very well for the city. And I think the same thing was here, was if we have somebody that's willing to take over that building and us not to have to tear it down and spend probably 20 grand to take that building down, 15, 20 grand. So you add that to the cost of $5,000 or $6,000 for the value of the land itself. That's how we came up and said the 10,000 was a fair price.
Number 11, I'm going to read number 11 aloud because this one, it says, our New Haven residents and taxpayers are going to have to worry about other vacated city buildings around town being sold in this fashion, i.e. closed session. I know I've answered this personally, and I'm not directing this towards you, Rachel. I know I've answered this time and time and time again. It is a whole different situation. We are going to put those buildings up for sale, as we did the gas building, as we did the old public works. We are going to seek to sell those buildings. And here again, it comes up again, and I know I answered that to people in this room. So,
And that's why I want to know why 11 is on this list. Because I personally answered that question. Mr. Carosello recorded it, and it's on Facebook, New Haven News, New Haven Independent News. So why was this added on there?
I don't know if it's on social media, if it reached everybody. I never heard an answer. I mean, I don't watch.
The people that asked the question were in the room, and they knew that it was answered.
Well, I've heard this from multiple people, though, people not sitting in this room. I've heard this question posed to me. It's how it made it on the list here. So, and again, it goes back to that concern for, is this the new way of handling things, that other people aren't going to have an opportunity to, consider? I think that's really the gist of the question.
But
is moving forward, is this how things are going to continue? Why was this one different than other transactions?
But this transaction went the same way as the gravel parking lot. They solicited an offer, and nobody, complained about that one. Now, granted, there wasn't a building on that one, and there was nobody else involved. But this one was the same way as that. Handled the exact same way.
So I'm just wondering why it was such a shock that it happened if people it's just that public notification piece. I hear what you're saying as far as being approached year after year, by the business down there. I hear that part, but it does feel that this one did, for whatever reason, good or bad, it just feels like this one, people just weren't aware it was even an option. I don't know about the gravel pile. I don't know about that situation. Was that something that people were aware of? Was an option, just the average citizen?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm just gonna put this out there, and the lawyer's probably gonna have a problem with it. You can shut me down if you feel you need to. And I think, and maybe, you guys can say if I'm not speaking the same thing that was going through your mind, when we're approached with this in a closed session meeting, you're thinking about a lot of different things. And, at this point, sitting down and having a meeting with the chamber at that point did not cross my mind. I'm just gonna be honest about it, because there's a lot of things that happen downtown, a lot of different things going on. Stuff we just, we don't wanna necessarily cover tonight. If I had to do it over again, would I have said, hey, Mr. City Attorney, can we wait a month and have a discussion? That's something I probably would have crossed my mind. But at the time, there was a lot of stuff going on, and to me, that was the decision we made. And could it have been made different? Yes, it could have been. And trust me, I think all four of us right here and the mayor understand and hear what you're saying. I truly believe.
I'm just the representative for the chamber,
No,
there's a lot of other people out there, whether they call or email or not, but, and that's
and I feel
what they need to hear.
I feel like, myself personally, and I think, all the rest of them feel what I put out publicly. We've been very upfront and public about how we acted, and I hope you understand we're trying to be the same way here. We're well beyond our time, but we're willing to go through each one of these so you feel you've got an answer that you can go back with.
Okay, number 12,
We talked about this.
yeah,
So you're comfortable with knowing that even though you might disagree with the answer, you're comfortable with our view on this?
So the ultimate question, is there a reason you did not consider inputting both the Chamber and Preservation Society as to possible options moving forward? And so, we did not need full knowledge of what was going on, but it would have been nice to have been let in a little bit on, just from my perspective. I know it looks different for you all sitting up there, but I think it would have been nice to have been in those early conversations about this being even a remote possibility, just so we could not be taken off guard like we were. I found out about it from a patron at the library who came in and she's like, oh my gosh, did you hear? Well, she assumed I knew. Didn't know. It was a pretty crappy way to find out, And so just somebody who, from somebody from the community, not a business number or anything. And so that, and that's where I called Kathy and I called Mark and I'm like, what's going on here, And that it's just, from day one, I just felt like we were excluded. Preservation Society too is on there because, again, the thinking that all this stuff could just be incorporated into theirs, as an option. That's not what you said would happen, but an option. And without taking into consideration what would be good or not. May not have affected the ultimate decision here. I'm not saying it would, but as partners and as working together, it would have been nice to have been let in on a little bit of just knowing this might be coming down the pike. Didn't need to know who or what or how much, just that this was something that, was potentially in our future.
13. Well, I can say we haven't discussed any viable options because we don't know where, we don't know where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And we are not going to dictate or suggest or demand where it should go. It's up to you in preservation. And like I said before, we will assist you in anything we can do.
And that's been my understanding from several of you sitting there, that is the intent, is for the city to continue a partnership and support a visitor center wherever, whatever that might look like.
Okay, 14. I